presentation. Yes, welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Amit. It's really an honor for me that I have been invited by one of my students who is doing great in his university and doing exceptionally well in the time of this pandemic. And I can see every day we have one invitation at least once in a week. He's organizing so many webinars that I'm really proud of you, Amit. Let us begin our program by this mantra. अखंड मंडलाकारं व्याप्तमेन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. Thank you. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Mizoram University, the Dean and Head of the Department, Dr. Amit, the co-coordinator of the this 5 days FDP program, which is being organized on the topic organizational behavior. So I welcome you all in this virtual platform. Before I start my presentation, I'd like to say one thing about the program itself, the topic of the program. You see, we the teacher have got to assume a very important responsibility. Like if the wristwatch of a person does not tell the right time, it would create problem to the person only. But if the घंटा घर की घड़ी अगर गलत समय बताने लगे तो वो पूरी सोसाइटी के लिए पूरे इंस्टीट्यूशन के लिए प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है. तो आई फील द टीचर रिप्रेजेंट that watch that is going to give direction, that is going to tell the time to all the men in the town or in the city. So with this introduction, I thank you once again for my introduction, and you have really raised the expectation of the participant. And I also like to welcome the participant without whom the program would not have been possible. So with this, let us say, like in this time of pandemic, when the students are struggling themselves and they're not very certain about their future, at such time, the role of a teacher is to make them comfortable. As Microsoft chairperson Bill Gates has already mentioned, the moment we feel to be comfortable in the setting of being uncomfortable, the process of learning starts. So here we have to face this challenge, and the challenge before the students are immense. They have to be comfortable in a setting where there is nothing is certain. The role of teacher is to train them in a manner so that they can broaden their vision, and they have to grow slowly in terms of their ambition and about their life. And for this, the teacher has to do a right connect so that the students can discuss all the problem, whether it is academic, it is administrative, it is financial, or maybe sometimes the personal problem can also be discussed with the teacher. And now we see there is no formal teaching, but we have to provide only the right atmosphere, the congenial enough to develop the brain power and the heart power. As our founder Mahamana Madan Mohan Malvi ji has said, कि दूध पियो कसरत करो और जपो हरिनाम, मन लगाए विद्या पढ़ो पूरन होंगे काम. So the time has come where we have to see that all dimensions of a personality, physical, mental, and spiritual, is growing in a manner so that we can become and we can make our student as a good citizen. Any institution has got three important pillars. The number one is called the system and the processes, where it is credit system, the admission system, which is lasting for some years and it is also visible. But there are two other important variable or the pillar of an institution. This is called the culture and the values. The culture, which determines whether the students and faculty behave, how they behave with each other. The sincerity, the honesty, which is very hard to quantify, but that is all going lasting for several years. But the most important pillar of any institution is the values. The values, such code of conduct, which is universal regardless the space and time. And this is reflected in terms of the trust and the respect which is hidden inside us. And this is not going to last for some years. This is not going to last for several years, but this is going to last forever. And we Indians are so proud and so lucky that these values have been well grounded our Indian tradition. So when we are going to teach the values and the culture, the teacher has to deal with these two pillars. Then we are going to train them as a leader of the future. You see, the institutions are not the mirrors of any society. Instead, the institutions, they are there to provide the administrative and political leadership. No, they are there to provide the thought leaders and leaders of the tomorrow. So if there is a problem with any country, the problem is not with the system. The problem is with the educational system first. We have to bear the responsibility. And once the students have become the good citizen, then professional competencies and the professional excellence will follow the students by default. So with this introduction, let us begin our presentation. And the topic which is being given to us is the perception. Perception means pratyakshikaran. Let us see the slide which is visible here. If we can see an iceberg, it is that we can see only 10% of this, and remaining 90% will remain below the sea level. The similar analogy could be applicable to human being. The human being and their behavior is merely 10%, and that is known to others, whereas 90% of their personality is hidden inside the human being and their personality. But the role of this 90% is immense, because these 90% are going to affect the remaining 10% of the human behavior. And what is this 90%? Though it is not visible, this is not, but this is not a standard. And this is how the one individual is different from the another individual. So if we have to analyze the behavior of a person, then it cannot be done without looking into the detailed aspect of their personality, which is present in every human being in terms of the values, standards, judgment, and together they form the attitude. But what is forming the attitude? It is the perception of the person, because this is the first encounter with the environment and their stimuli, which will form the attitude, and later on it is going to be manifested in our behavior. So what is perception? Perception, if we see the Hindi meaning of this, is very beautiful. It is known as pratyakshikaran. Anything which is called karan, simplification, perception, sarlikarana. So that means it is not one moment. This is not one time process. It is going to last with the help of certain activities. So this perception is also a combination of several activities, which starts with sensation. Sensation where we are activating our sense organ to do something. Like if we are activating our eyes, we will see something. But what is being seen, the inference that we draw, this is known as the perception. So one thing is physiological, the other perception variable is more of a psychological variable, not the physiological variable. At the same time, perception can also be treated as intellectual, because our cognition is important. Then it is also a subjective process. As we have seen, that 90% of the human being are responsible for making a human being as he is or as she is. That means it is got nothing to do with the objectivity. Every person will perceive, every person will interpret the environment in his own manner. So here, the complete definition now we can have as, it is a process by which we select information, we organize information, we interpret the information so as we can give some meaning to our surroundings. So we have already discussed the sensation and perception, they are different. And we can also see this pictorial presentation where the stimuli is being received with the help of certain sense organs, but when the brain is processing, then only the perception process is getting completed. Let's say the process, but before this,
when you look in a mirror and see yourself and you see like one person looking back, that is not true. You are made out of 50 trillion cells. So you are a community, not a single person. I will show you the science of actually how the cells work, and you will have more knowledge than most doctors in the world today because they still believe in the genes. Here is the simple truth. A gene is a blueprint. Are you reading the blueprint or are you not reading the blueprint? And the gene does not make that decision. The gene is read or not read. And what do you think controls the signal? Perception. Every cell has about 1.4 volts, not too much. 50 trillion cells in the body times 1.4 volts is 700 trillion volts of electricity in your body right now. But your mind is the government for the 50 trillion cells. So if you change your thought and your mind, you can change the biology. And the mind is the primary cause of illness on our planet today. So you are not the victims of your genes because you can change any of your genes anytime. If you change your perception, you change the reading of your genes. If someone tells you you're going to have a disease and you believe that, then you can create the disease. Perception can rewrite the genetic code. So perception controls life. No two people see the world in the same way. They have different perceptions. And sometimes your perceptions can be right and sometimes your perceptions can be wrong. Since perception controls biology, and since they can be right or wrong, then it's more accurate to say that belief controls biology. What you believe creates your life on the inside and on the outside. You're not a victim of your genetics. You are responsible for what unfolds in your life. The placebo effect is when you have a very positive thought that something can heal you, even if it's a sugar pill, but you believe it's the real medicine, then you can heal yourself with that. So the pill didn't heal you. It was the thought that healed you. There is negative thinking, and it's called the nocebo effect. And in the same power that positive thinking can heal you, negative thinking can kill you. So if we were growing up and programmed with stronger beliefs, we would be more powerful than we are now. When you are conscious, you can rewrite the instincts, and when you become conscious, you can rewrite the experiences of your life. So that it is important to recognize that what we are not using enough of in our world today is consciousness.
Hello? Hello? But this video was audible?
It was audible.
Okay, so with this foundation, we can progress in our discussion how important perception is in our life. And we, hello?
Yeah, excuse me, ma'am.
Ma'am, there is
Yes.
a small HP something written on the PPT. On the top of the PPT is there's a slider. There is a slider on the right side. If I think you can just press on that, it will go. It will minimize.
Okay. But I cannot say it. Okay, I'll try to remove it. Is it okay now?
It's okay, ma'am.
स्लाइड के ऊपर में कुछ दिखा रहे हैं
स्लाइड के ऊपर में HP कैमरा ये लिखा हुआ आता है जैसे मैम, बट नो प्रॉब्लम मैम, यू कैन गो अहेड.
No, I can.
उनके उसमें हल्का सा very transparent type. Ma'am, that's fine. It's okay.
Ma'am, that's fine now.
Okay, because I cannot see, so I'm not able to manage it. Okay.
Very transparent, ma'am. Please go ahead, ma'am.
प्लीज कंटिन्यू
Okay, thank you. So this was the video telling us how important perception is in our life, because it is going to control everything. Whatever we do, it is starts. So this has also been said by everyone in the field of psychology or in the field of neuroscience, that whatever we think, they are converted into our action, and our action creates our habit. The habit is transformed into our character, and character is transformed into our destiny. So once we are able to control our thought process, then we will be able to control our destiny. This is very obvious truth, and very many research is also going on this topic. So this has also been described in our Hindu, in ancient Indian wisdom, in the name of a sanskara. बोलते संस्कार से ही संसार बनता है. So the same has been repeated in the process of describing the perception. So here's the quick look at the process, which has got three elements: the inputs, that is stimuli that we receive from the environment; the processing part, where the information is selected, it is organized, and it is interpreted. Actually, at this stage only we form the perception. And finally, what we have in our hand in terms of the action, that is the thought process, the belief, the attitude. So this is a small description of how three interrelated part of perception are explained. So let us see what are the, so we are be very careful while explaining the various stages in the perception process, because at every stage we will have the influence of these factors, and these factors could be in the perceiver, they could be in the target, and can also be in the situation. So let us explain one by one with the certain example. The first is perceptual selectivity, the first stage where the informations are being received by the perceiver. So as far as the classical discussions are concerned, we can see there are a lot of factors in the object which can draw our attention. Like first one is the intensity. Intensity could be in terms of the color, the sound, the picture. So better the intensity, higher the intensity, better is the higher the attraction towards the object. And this is not only like relevant with the with respect to the color, but कभी कभी बातों में भी रंग होता है. Like कभी आप किसी से बहुत सारी बातें सुनते हो, but the moment you listen to someone, it may stuck, it may change your life. That means the intensity is important. We nowadays we see so many people preaching, but they're not having their influence to the extent it could be. I hope you remember the story of महात्मा गांधी. एक लेडी अपने बेटे को उनके पास लेके गई, बोलती कि आप उनसे बोल दीजिए बहुत मीठा खाता है. तो गांधी जी ने कहा कि अच्छा भाई अब तुम 2 दिन बाद आना. और वो लेडी 2 दिन के बाद आई, तो उन्होंने बस इतना कहा कि बेटा आप मीठा मत खाया करो. The lady was surprised that the same statement could have been said by Mahatma Gandhi ji 2 days before, but he could not say. It is because he was not following the statement by himself. So the conviction, the intensity comes from your own demonstration. So this is how the intensity affects the perception. The second factor very quickly I'd like to take is the size. Size means I think you can compare the advertisement. If a 4 into 6 inches advertisement will not be able to catch the attention of the customer or the reader when it is a one-page advertisement. Normally we have seen nowadays the institutions, the education institutions are spending a lot of money to give their advertisement so as to attract the target customer. अब यहाँ पे size की बात चली, तो let me also describe one very important narration from the Ramcharitmanas. You'd not believe that the Sita ji was also has some concern with the size of the Hanuman ji. जब अशोक वाटिका में बैठी रहती हैं, हनुमान जी उनके सामने आते हैं और कहते हैं कि हम तो बिल्कुल सब कुछ कर सकते हैं, जा रहे हैं फल खाने, हमको डर नहीं है. तो सीता जी गॉट स्कैर्ड. वो बोलते हैं कि अरे आप तो बहुत छोटे दिख रहे हो, कैसे आप ये सब काम करोगे. Then there is a line by Tulsidas ji कि मोरे हृदय परम संदेहा सुन कपि प्रकट कीन निज देहा कनक भूधराकार शरीरा समर भयंकर अति बलबीरा एंड सीता मन भरोसा भयो and अति लघु रूपम सुतलायु. So just see Jagat Janani Sita ji was also having some concern with the size. So what to call about the human being like us. So size is important to catch our attention. The next factor is contrast. Contrast is like when you're comparing two things, the one which is quite contradictory from the second one would catch our attention. Anyone would not forget the name of Sonu Sood. In the time of this COVID-19, he was one person which has ruled out all the negative perception about this disease, and he has come out and helped a lot. And similar story can go with our late Defense Minister Manohar Parrikar ji. It was so simple that he was defying all the definition of a common politician. Similarly, when it comes to philanthropic activities, then the Ratan Tata and Birla, they will be singled out in terms of the philanthropic activities, and they'll not be merely a businessman. Then comes the next feature, that's the motion. Anything which is moving will attract our attention. You see the digital advertisements, they are far more impactful as compared to print media because of their dynamism, because of their changing perception, because of the changing this thing. Situation. Then there are repetition, novelty, and familiarity. Repetition is like when we are watching one thing again and again, it will have a permanent place in our mind. And similar law of perception is being used by the advertisers. अभी जब देखो टीवी खोलो तो आता है ना कि बायजूस बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग क्लासेस हैं, आपके बच्चे will do good when you will have this for your child. Similarly, while watching the Ramayana, everyone have noticed मेरे पास भी घड़ी है sir. So this advertisement of घड़ी with along with Amitabh Bachchan by Devanka has also been the case of repetition. Then novelty and familiarity. This is like when we have something new in the old situation or the new situation, but the old setting can also catch up our attention. I think it will not be very interesting to note that after this pandemic, we all have started paying so much attention to our body, and especially the throat. It might have been seen the sensation, it must have seen some kharash or anything, but now we have all become very careful, and the moment we feel anything, we start doing garam pani and gargle. So this is the perception how the new setting will catch our attention. Then besides these external factors, there are certain internal factors which will also affect our perception. And learning, I think, very important. Learning is what? If you define the learning, as Ajay Wagser was also explaining, it is a relatively permanent change in our behavior. So that means it is not a one-time process. It keep on going throughout our life. And when we have learned something, the way we perceive the things will also change. Here I'd like to give a very contemporary example of dharma, the religion. Suppose when we were quite young, people worshipping in the temple, offering the floral petals, chanting, this was considered to be a manifestation of being dharmic or being religious. But now once we have grown up, we can see the real meaning of dharma. Dharma is Dhiti Kshama Damospriyam Shaucham Indriya Nigraham Dhir Vidya Satyam Krodha Dashamo Dharma Lakshanam. That means if you possess all these 10 qualities, then only you could be considered as the dharmic person. और दूसरा एक उदाहरण हमें और मिलता है to describe a dharmic person. अष्टादश पुराणेषु व्यासस्य वचनं दिव्यं परोपकाराय पुण्याय पापाय परपीडनम, कि परोपकार से अच्छा और परोपकार से बड़ा कोई धर्म नहीं है और दूसरों को पीड़ा देने से बड़ा कोई पाप नहीं है. So this is how we have changed our perception towards perceiving the true definition of dharma. Atmanev pratikulani parishamna samachare. This is another but very simple definition which will remain relevant regardless of time and space. कि हमें जो मेरे लिए पसंद नहीं है वो नहीं करना ही धर्म है. So this was how the learning has changed our perception towards the dharma, and this is true for many other important issues, but we cannot take all of them. So just checking another variable as motivation. Motivation is again very important thing which can influence our perception. अभी सबके मोबाइल में मैसेज आते होंगे 50% डिस्काउंट 60% डिस्काउंट from different malls and the stores, big stores. But are we really going to visit those stores? Certainly not, because the situation is such that the external setting has also affected our internal setting, our motivation to purchase the items from any store. But what about the online teaching? Now the mobile, the laptop have become the need. They are no longer treated as a necessity, this luxury. They are the necessity. Even a small child of just 4 to 5 years has to sit in front of the camera, in front of the laptop to complete the homework. And along with the child, his parents are also sacrificing their time and their energy to see that the children is listening and he is learning from with the help of laptop. Then the personality of a person also influence the perception. Then I think here, do you remember when Arjuna and Duryodhana both have gone to Krishna to seek their help? और अर्जुन से जब पूछा कृष्ण ने कि आपको क्या चाहिए, दुर्योधन वाज वेरी स्केर्ड बिकॉज उन्होंने कह दिया था कि हम पहले अर्जुन को देखे हैं तो मुझे पहले उसी की बात, उसी की प्रार्थना सुननी होगी. एंड द मोमेंट अर्जुन सेज कि मुझे तो सिर्फ कृष्ण चाहिए, तो दुर्योधन बिल्कुल खुश हो गया, बोलते अरे वाह, अच्छा हुआ कि मुझे तो अक्षौहिणी की सेना से ही काम था, अच्छा हुआ कि इसने कृष्ण को मान लिया. और ये तो जिस हाउ पर्सनालिटी ऑफ अ पर्सन, अर्जुन तो इंद्र के पुत्र थे, तो ही हैज गॉट altogether different perception about Shri Krishna. He knew that he is the Lord himself, and इसलिए उनका जो perception था उनके लिए, it was completely different from that of the Duryodhana. So it is the situation which will affect here 2% in this cartoon. We can describe the same number in his own way. One can perceive it as a 9, the other person can see it as a 6. So it is not the perceiver, it is not the target, but ultimately it is the situation which will affect the way that things are being perceived. So this was the first stage of perception formation, that was selecting the stimuli or receiving the information. But that is not the end. This is just one stage in the process of perception formation. Now second thing is, when we are flooded with the information, every information will not be processed and interpreted to get the meaning from it. It is the organizing of the stimuli or the variable which is far more important. And at this stage, there are certain laws, there are certain principles which will guide the perceiver, or which affect the perceiver and the way he perceives the things. Here the different principles we have already been exposed to them. The figure and ground, then perceptual grouping, which is going to follow the principle of closure, continuity, proximity, similarity. So we'll discuss one by one. So what is figure and ground? This principle is like how we separate the significant aspect of any stimuli from the insignificant one. The things that seems to be important, which will be given more importance as compared to the things which is not holding so much importance for me, not forever, but it is in the present moment. Like suppose when we enter in the cinema hall, for us the seat is very important. We will not see at all the screen, but we will see where is our seat. So but once we are comfortable, we have found out our seats, now we'll focus on the screen. So the seat was earlier treated to be the focus, the figure, and movie as the screen as the ground. But later on, the movie becomes the figure and the remaining all other variable, all other atmospheric setting will become the ground. Similarly, we can attach the same example with so many things. Like we can see this job while selecting a salary, and the location, the atmosphere, we can be the background. Whereas for other, the location and the other, the achievement for the growth and opportunity for learning, it can be the focus of attention, whereas remaining things will become the background. So here are the some pictures, and the very classical one where depending upon our interest, we can see either the young lady or the old lady. The same picture. Then here, this is called the Ishihara plate, which is used in testing the eyes of the people in the various examination, like the Indian Forest Services, the Army, where the green circles can be treated as a background, whereas the number which is written on it, the 45, could be considered as a figure. The same is happening with this. This is very fantastic picture, and the one picture has got two personality. But here we have to do some. We have to take some pain to see the another person. The one person is Albert Einstein, that we can clearly see. The other person is. I'm not going to tell you. At the end of the discussion, if you go at least 5 to 10 feet away from your laptop, then you will tell me who is the next personality. Okay. Then in this one, we can either see the yard or we can see the pillars. So depending upon our interest. Actually, this is the technique, which is called the projective technique, which is used in the area of market research, where people tend to explain and tend to describe the picture in their own setting. And from this, the market researcher, they come out with the fact whether the interest area of the particular customer is say X or Y. So these are the pictures which will be used for grouping the information. These are the various principles and the laws. Here, if you see the principle of closure, there are three different parts of lines, but they have been put together in a manner we can ultimately drawing our inference as to be it as a triangle, as a square, or the circle. Similarly, we can also see that the pattern is similar to the letter yes, or it can also be considered as the number 5. This is our way of perceiving or looking at the things. This picture is where there is no circle. They are simple straight lines, but since we have got the tendency to complete the picture based on the principle of closure, we can very clearly see a circle in it. Okay. And then these are the pictures which is also based on the principle of grouping, where continuity, the homogeneous things have been put together. We have also joined the dots so as to see the connectedness. And there's another law which is called the perceptual constancy, where if we recognize the object, regardless of the color, shape, and size, we keep on recognizing the object in the similar fashion. So when it is considered the door, now even if we are changing the direction, but still it will remain as a door for us. This is called the perceptual constancy, and this can also be used while perceiving one individual. Suppose we are meeting a person after 10 years or 15 years, but if there is a consistency in his behavior, or if we have recognized a person very well, our perception is very correct, then this principle of perceptual constancy will be applicable. And this is the last stage of this perception process, which deals with the interpretation. Interpretation is the most important stage, because it is not the selection of stimuli, it is not organizing the variable, but it is the interpretation of the variable which is very important. And normally we human beings, since they are suffering from lot of biases, And since the individual being is so complex, then we are often caught by these factors, and they will distort our perception. So let us see how these perceptual distortions can affect the way we look at the things. And we have to be very careful while describing, while recognizing this distortion, that while perceiving the person or the object, we have to avoid this distortion, the factors which distort ourselves. So the number one is the perceptual set. What is perceptual set? Like here saying that all politicians are corrupt. Is it not something we are generalizing too much? But this is because of the perceptual set, like when our previously held belief or the assumption about the object or category of object is made applicable, or they are affecting the perception about the similar objects. So that is why we try to create generalization about a group of people, a group of event. So this is how we like right now there is a lot of debate in on television, like all the Bollywood people that are using drugs or all. Like there is a lot of confrontation also among the politicians, but this is not right. This is not correct to generalize any group of people. There might be people who are very good. They are giving employment to lakhs of people, thousands of people. So putting them in just one category for the sake of our convenience will be misleading as far as perception is concerned. And this misleading or misperception is only because of the perceptual set. So next time, whenever we are drawing inference about the group of people based on the this thing, then we have to be very careful. Then projection. In the previous case, we were drawing inference about the other people in the same group. This is the technique, this is the problem with the individual, where we are trying to impose our own characteristics on the person who is being perceived. So projection, हम अपनी ही बातें उस पे थोप रहे हैं. एक लाइन भी है ना, जाकी रही भावना जैसी प्रभु मूरत देखी थी तैसी. So this need to be avoided when we are interested in making the correct perception. And for this we have to have the self concept so developed, so enhanced, that whenever we are looking at other person, our own biases, our own characteristics is not going to play any role in it. Then comes the stereotyping. Very important. Like it is said, the man is known by his by the company he keeps. No? So based on the group member, then we are drawing inference about that person. If there is a studious boy who is right now in the company of bad students, and bad in the sense that they're not taking interest in the study. So the perception towards that good student will also get faded away over a period of time. So that is why we have to be very careful about the company where we are, to whom we are interacting, because later on it may create bias as far as the perception of others are concerned. Then halo effect. Halo effect is like a story of 6 blind people will trying to interpret identify an elephant just because of their own limited effort. So this halo effect is when the person is being characterized or perceived on the basis of just one trait. If we want to describe a job, so will salary be sufficient? No, there are certain other factors. Similarly, if we want to characterize the celebrity or a politician or a businessman, and then a complete picture is necessary in order to get the inference, to draw the inference. Now, this is a very interesting factor which is going to affect the perception. This is called the attribution. Attribution means where we want to explain the reason behind the behavior of oneself or the behavior of the other. And there comes the different conditions where the people are very partial when it comes to describing their own personality and the reason behind it, but they are very like say they are very very not fair, unfair when it comes to describing the reason behind the personality or behind the act of the other. So when there are three important variables which can decide the rule of attribution. If the person behave in this manner in other situation, so if he's always going to behave in this manner, that means he's always uh, he's always going to be like that. So that manner, his internal reasons are far more important while deciding their act, not the external reasons. So is the case with this situation, and also the consistency. If the person is consistent in his behavior, that means in every situation he does this similar act, that means it is not in this situation, but the person himself is responsible for his act. इसके लिए एक लाइन भी होती है कि आप, but this is very important when we want to evaluate the performance of the employee at the time of promotion, at the time of hiring, and suppose we are there to judge the integrity of a person or his commitment, his dedication, his loyalty, then this attribution aspect is very important, and every manager has to have very careful in describing this situation. And there are two biases related to this factor. One is called the fundamental attribution error, where we have the normal tendency to underestimate the influence of external factor and overestimating the influence of internal factor when making judgment about the behavior of others. But similar does not hold true when we are explaining our own behavior. Then we always tend to pretend कि no, whatever we have done, it is because of the, if it is success, if it is the achievement, then we will characterize our own strength behind it. We will hold them responsible. But if we have failed somewhere, then we would not be readily accepting the role of internal factor. Somewhere it is the external factor which will be held responsible for not acting in a manner in which we can say that we have not become successful in achieving anything. कहते भी ना, अजब समय की रीत है, अजब समय की चाल, करता है तो गलत है और करता हूं तो ठीक. Like if we are doing it, we are right, but if others are doing, then he is not right. It is because of his own fault that he is going to commit this kind of mistake. Then this was the second stage. When the third stage, where the attribution, the projection, the perceptual set, the halo effect, the stereotyping, all these law have helped, or they have distorted the way the situation or the object or the perceiver, the object is being perceived by the people. So after these three stages, what we have in our hand is the perceptual output. So first stage was the input, the stimuli, the object, the environmental variable. Second was the organization of the stimuli with the help of three important acts, that is selecting, organizing, and interpreting. But once we are done with it, now the interpretation is done, then we have in our hand certain beliefs, certain thoughts, certain attitude, and which is nothing but the outcome of the perception process. And we, as we have seen initially, that thoughts are responsible for the action, action is responsible for the act, the behavior, the habit is responsible for character, and character is responsible for our destiny. So if we want to change our behavior, the process and the initiation has to be taken right from the stage when we select the stimuli. So when we will discuss the how to overcome the perceptual distortion, we will see how these stages could be handled so as to avoid the perceptual distortion. Now let us see what are the perceptual implication for the managers, and we'll also discuss the perceptual implication for the general people. So what are the implications? I think after this point everyone is clear what is how the perception is formed, the input, the process, and the output. Hello. So, okay, so I'm moving on to the implication of the perception for the managers. So, there are certain circumstances, or say there are all the circumstances where the perception is going to play a very important role. So, number one is help understand the difference between the perceived word and the real word. So that means we have the tendency to look at the things not as they are, but the way we want to perceive. So, and this is actually responsible for creating a gap between the perceived world and the real world. Higher the gap, poor is the relationship. So if we want to enhance the interpersonal relationship, then naturally the every effort has to be taken so as to minimize the gap between the perception and the reality. So this will help us to make a very cordial relationship among the employees and in between the subordinate and the boss. And this is how one can see the importance of mutual trust and respect so as to have the better perception. Then it is also playing very important role in employee hiring. Just we have discussed the example of stereotyping, the halo effect, and the role of contrast. So when we are interviewing an employee, then there is possibility that once we have taken the interview of a very intelligent person, the next person may be intelligent but not as the previous one, then he may get unfair treatment or unfair justice undue justice by the interviewer. So here the employee hiring is an occasion where the people in the selection committee have to be very careful, very prompt in recognizing the person, not based on the group to which he belongs, not based on the single trait that he has, but a complete personality that he possesses. Then it can also like play an important role in appraising the performance of the employee. Like when the person has got some connection or he has been able to develop a positive perception for him, naturally he'll be having edge over the others when his performance would be appraised. This may be due to his efficiency, but may be due to his relationship with the superior. So, but again, the role of perception is very important. So every person should try to minimize the biasness in the way he is being perceived by the other. During the pandemic, there were a lot of like panic among the people that whether they'll be able to secure their job or not. So here again, there is a role of perception. Like, do you think that you're not competent enough, that your job is safe? Or don't you think that your relationship is going to create problem? So if it is the efficiency, then you can do a lot of things to improve your skill. And but if you see the relationship, there also you can have the scope for developing the trust and amount of creditworthiness about you in the eyes of your employer. So these are the things where the perception is important. Then employee are loyal or they're not loyal, this would also be judged based on the perception that they have been able to create in the mind of the organization. Then sometimes we want to have higher performance from the employee, and there comes the role of expectation. Like if there is a theory called Pygmalion effect that says if we expect more and we have been able to communicate this to the subordinate that I treat you as a very important asset in my organization, you're so wonderful employee, you're so efficient, this can raise the morale of the employee, and this can also get reflected into the performance of the employee. So their perception, the positive perception is creating a positive impact on increasing the productivity of the employee, and not just these occasions, but everywhere where the individual is confronting with the situation where he has to take decision, then the role of perception will be there. And the nowadays there is a total a complete field where the people are trying to manage their impression, not about themselves but also about their organization. This is called the self presentation. Nowadays we are advocating also this act of people when they are doing self marketing or self presentation. Yes, this is good because there can be three kind of people. एक होते हैं जो कहते हैं और करते नहीं है, कुछ होते हैं जो कहते हैं और करते नहीं, और कुछ लोग होते हैं कहते नहीं है लेकिन सिर्फ करते हैं. बट you should have to have the person who can recognize your talent, your way of behaving, the way you dedicate yourself for the organization's betterment. If the people are not so who can recognize, and they some amount of marketing is needed, but this should not be to the extent of self bragging, and this is something to be avoided, because if you will praise yourself, what the others are going to do. So there has to be a limit for creating self impression, and also the way you are going to create your image in the eyes of the others. Besides these ordinary way of making your perception, there are certain extraordinary perception, and this is called the telepathy, mind-to-mind interaction, mind-to-mind communication. Then they can be pre-recognition, perceiving future event. There are people with very pure soul who has got the ability to see what will happen in future. Normally the saints, the people who have developed their soul to the extent that there is no difference between the soul and the powerful soul. Like बोलते हैं ना यत पिंडे तत् ब्रह्मांडे, कि ब्रह्मांड की जो भी चीजें अगर you are able to receive them, transmission है, so then you can develop the quality of extrasensory perception, but that's not possible for everyone. We have to have to develop this kind of like energy and the power within ourselves. So then this is the last part of my presentation, where talking about the perceptual distortion is not enough. Now we have to see that though there are biases, there are distortions, there are barriers which can come in between the real object and the perceived object, but we can try to minimize this gap. We cannot be 100% successful in minimizing or eliminating the gap, but we can minimize this gap. So one thing is perceiving oneself accurately. We'll discuss this later on. The second one, enhancing self-concept. As we were discussing in one of the slide, that when we have good image of our own in our mind, then we can also see the others in a good character. Okay, so enhancing self concept is very important. Jaki rahi bhavna jaise. This was the context where we were discussing this, and for this life position theory, life position grid is very important, where we consider that I'm okay, so you're also okay. This is the ideal condition. But there could be person with this attitude that I'm only okay, you're not okay. There could be a people with such a low esteem that they don't consider themselves as an okay. They're not correct. Even the person in front of them is not correct. So enhancing self-concept with the help of these techniques is called the life positions, where you perceive the things in its correct form. It is called the enhancing self-concept. This can help us a lot in minimizing the gap. Being empathetic. What is empathy? Empathy is like putting our feet in the shoes of others, and so then also as to know how it pinches. I think you remember the photograph and the video clips that was being shown during the pandemic, where one lady was carrying her child on a suitcase. And this was, there was a statement by the district magistrate, though unknowingly he must have done it, not knowingly, because that was a time of so much pressure कि अरे हम लोग भी ऐसा बहुत किए हैं, but that time it was not accepted in the way he was telling it, because empathy is very important. When we cannot perceive the other person the way we want to be treated by others, then we would not be able to make policies and will not be able to do something good for the society. Similarly, we may have the negative perception about the various policies of the government, but there we have to see if we would have been in the situation of them, how would how would I have been handle this situation. So this being empathetic is very important, so as to have the correct image of the person. Having a positive attitude, it is said that attitude is very everything. So when we are having positive attitude, then this can minimize the distortion that is creating bias. So that is a strategy where we can minimize the negativity about the other person, and this can happen only when we have the develop the trust and the open communication. So sometimes we criticize the Indian economic development, that still we have the villages above where there is no electricity and there is no internet, and we can imagine how much difficulty these students might be facing in continuing their studies from the remote places when there is no electricity and there is no internet. But yes, we have to see the efforts, and we have to see that that we are moving in the positive direction. Forget about the past, because past is history and the future is mystery. So whatever we have in our hand is the present. So आगे भी जाने न तो पीछे भी जाने न तो जो भी है बस यही एक पल. So with this positive attitude, we have to see that our efforts are there to create the positive perception. Positive impression formation, we just have discussed that we should try to create positive image of ourselves and also about the others. And this is possible with one technique which is called the Johari window. I think we all are familiar with the technique of organizational behavior. Very important, very fascinating technique of this developing the area where the subordinate knows everything, or to a great extent, about their superior, and superior know to a great extent, superior knows to a great extent about their subordinate. So if you keep on enhancing, if you keep on increasing the area where the informations are being shared with lot of trust, lot of respect, then this communication can help us building a positive perception where there is no gap, there is hardly any gap between the perception and the reality. Comparing one's perceptual with that of others, like when we are perceiving ourselves, the same time we can see how others are perceiving. So if my perception is matching with their perception, then there is lesser chances of distraction, but they could be, but yes, the chances are lower to have the perception. So all these things is possible by creating self-awareness, by getting more and more information, and that is why when there are a lot of people involved in decision making, we believe in forming the committee so that there is no one dominating the opinion of the others. Then empathetic we already discussed, and sometimes it happens that there is one person which is trying to influence the perception of others. Okay, at this time the manager has to have a role of eliminating the biases and to give a proper direction so that everyone in the group, everyone in the organization will not get affected by the negativity of the same person or biases of the same person, but rather we should believe in creating an atmosphere where everyone has got somewhat correct perception about the others. Then avoiding common perceptual distortion, we have discussed the halo effect, the stereotyping, projection, perceptual set. All these things should be known well in advance to the perceiver, so that once he is interacting with the other person, with his trying to make an image of the object, then he is not getting adversely affected by these perceptual distortions. avoiding inappropriate distribution, attribution, as we have said, that खुद अगर कोई काम हम करते हैं तो हम हमेशा blame करते हैं कि this is because of the unforeseen reasons. But if the other person is committing mistake, then we are not very kind enough to forgive the person. We always try to blame the person that it is not because of the external reason, but because of the internal reason that the person has not been able to perform well. Then diversity management program, this has become very much relevant because you see the Indian government is also inviting the foreign universities. When the academicians will come from the different setting and they will work with us. There are a lot of challenges. So there has to be a orientation program where we can enjoy having the exposure of different countries and different settings, but at the same time we can also have some guidelines, some effort, so that to eliminate the discrepancies what the different people can have while perceiving the similar object. And finally, it is knowing yourself, because this is the first stage. जब हम खुद को जानते हैं तभी दूसरों को भी समझ सकते हैं. So where we are competent enough to know our shortcomings and our strength, then we will be able to perceive the object or the other person in the correct manner. और हम कौन है ये जानने के लिए let us do not believe in the Western philosophy. वहाँ पे बोलते हैं ना कि the human being is incomplete, and in order to make him work, there are a lot of interventions which is required, like personality development के लिए चाहिए उनको program करने चाहिए. But unlike the Western philosophers, our Indian philosophy has always believed that human being is complete in it. बोलते हैं पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. हम कभी नहीं कहते कि हम इनकम्प्लीट है. हम तो हम ये मान के चलते हैं कि हम कंप्लीट है, कि कुछ और ज्यादा कंप्लीट है, कि हमारे ऊपर कुछ माया के पर्दे पड़ गए, कुछ अज्ञानता है जिससे कि हमारी जो अपनी पिक्चर है वो बाहर निकल के नहीं आ रही है. ईश्वर ने हमें जब बनाया तो उसने हमें जाहिर किया और अपने आप को छुपा दिया. और जब हम खुद को जान जाएंगे तो हमारा ये काम होगा कि हम अपने अंदर जो ईश्वरी गुण है, ईश्वरंश जीव अविनाशी, कहते हैं ना God has made men in his own image, और हम वही हैं जो हम बन सकते हैं. सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन, मैस्लो ने भी कहा कि the person can go up to the level of self actualization, that means he can become what is capable of becoming. तो ये हमारे इंडियन फिलोसफी की हाईएस्ट स्टेज है जहाँ पे मैन इज नॉट नो वे लेस देन द गॉड हिमसेल्फ. ही इज द मैनिफेस्टेशन of the God. So once we are aware of these qualities, I think we would never do the mistake of perceiving the other person in the incorrect manner. And if this is a condition, Siaram hai subject jani, though it seems to be lesser relevant, but I think in nowadays when there are so much problems surrounding us, we have to have this clear perception of ourselves and the perception about the other. Even though some people may not have the understanding, they may not have the similar views as we have, but what to do with this? This is the individual difference. This is the beauty of the सृष्टि. हम कहते हैं मुझे दृष्टि बदलनी है, ना कि सृष्टि. हम दृष्टि बदलेंगे तो सृष्टि अपने आप बदल जाएगी. So it is better to realize our own potential, to know ourselves, and once we know ourselves, it is not difficult for us to know the other people. And once we will be able to know others, here the role of perception is very important. So these few words, हम अपने टीचर के रोल में वापस आ जाते हैं जहाँ पे कि हमारा हर कदम एक रोल मॉडल का होना चाहिए. डू यू रिमेम्बर द मुनि विश्वामित्र? आज के प्रसंग में बहुत ही रेलेवेंट है. उसमें कहते हैं कि विश्वामित्र बच्चों को मांगने आए थे, राम और लक्ष्मण को मांगने आए थे. दैट मीन्स द मुनि, द टीचर, द प्रीचर, दे आर नो लॉन्गर इंटरेस्टेड इन संपत्ति. उनको तो संतति चाहिए, मतलब उनको संपत्ति नहीं, उनको संतति चाहिए. इफ हमें विश्व का कल्याण की तरफ बढ़ना है तो हमें अच्छे स्टूडेंट्स चाहिए और उनके लिए एक रोल मॉडल होना पड़ेगा हम टीचर्स को, so that we can give them proper direction and we can have the leaders of tomorrow, because we are not the teachers, we are the trainers of the future leaders. So this is the biggest responsibility that we are assuming. Malvi ji ने भी कहा था कि it is not merely the responsibility of the teacher to produce the doctors, engineers, na? But we have to assume an even higher responsibility of producing the citizen of higher probity and integrity and honor. So with these words, once again, I congratulate Dr. Amit Singh and his entire team who have designed such a wonderful program and have given me the opportunity to interact with the learned faculty members and gaining something out of this very, very special program, which I hope will pave the way for the future learning and sharing creation of knowledge. Amit, so once again, thank you and congratulations. If you have any questions, I'm open to it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your excellent lecture. And we are receiving a lot of comments that a very excellent lecture. And some are asking to share your PPT. I will surely share PPT.
I hope it is their perception only which is creating this perception about me. So I'm thankful to all of them for having such a nice word about me. But yes, if they have any question, I'm here.
Yeah, actually some limitation is that, ma'am, so many participants are there.
Okay.
So directly they can't ask the question, and in chat box they are not asking so many questions, but they are praising very nice lecture, very wonderful lecture. And like that, all are the management teachers, but they are appreciating.
I know it was really difficult to interact with the person who was so intelligent and so having higher amount of intellect with them. So yes, but so that is very much appreciating of them. Yes, there is a question in the chat box. Who is the other person in the image?
Yeah, just one question: ki, who is other person in that?
Yes.
Albert Einstein. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Are you ready to take some amount of pen? So please go at least 5 to 10 feet away from your laptop and please tell me who is the other person. Please. It's such a fantastic piece of art where you can see the other picture, the other person. Yes, I'm showing you the picture so that you can see the same picture. Just a minute.
Yes.
Okay, so Albert Einstein, sir, can be seen by everyone. Please, who's going to tell me? I'll be happy to know about the other personality.
No, actually, they may be the mute.
Okay, sure. Sure. Okay. So it's a Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, Marilyn Monroe.
Yes, Hollywood actress. This picture is available on the internet. You can see it, and you can cherish it, and you can also appreciate the artist behind the picture.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Amit.
Valuable lecture and sparing time to us.
And
we are highly obliged to you.
Thank you, Amit.
Regarding so many participants, just I want to tell them they are asking about the attendance. So attendance we have to upload on AICT web portal. Those who are attending, our system is recording their attendance, and on the basis of that we will upload in AICT portal. And for the tomorrow's session, we will start again 10 a.m. and Professor E. Nixon Singh, who is the finance officer in Bodoland University, he will deliver the lecture. Second session will be taken by Professor Avjit Singh from BHU, same institution from where ma'am is there.
Yes.
And third lecture will be taken by Dr. Soumya Singh. She is head of the Department of Management, IIT IISM Dhanbad. So with this, I want to conclude here, and we can take a rest. And tomorrow again 10 o'clock we will be gathering here. So thank you, ma'am, once again. Thanks to all the participants.
Okay, yes.
Thanks, ma'am.
Dr. Amit, I think it will not be out of place if I have a word of appreciation for you. We are discussing a lot of things about the perception, the other variable of the organizational behavior, but these are the topics not to be just preached about in the class. I mean, this is something to be demonstrated, and I'd like to commend the coordinator of the program, Dr. Amit Singh. I tell you, there were a lot of occasions when there was a vacancy and both of us were to apply, and you will be happy to know this is a highest order of respect that he has always shown to me. That is never applied for a post where I was applying. Amit, thank you so much. This is the best place where I can share about your gesture in this manner. So thanks again, and congratulations for on this FDP. I'm sure in future also you'll keep on conducting such valuable program for the audience, for the. Thank you, Amit. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. If your blessings and audience support, yes, elders' blessings will be there. We will conduct so many programs, sir, ma'am.
Sure. It is always there. You deserve it. You deserve it.
Yes, yes. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.